What's up, Wargamers? Welcome back to World of Wargaming. I'm Isaiah, and today we're back for a game of Cursebreaker. We're going to be trudging through the Basilisk's graveyard. So I've got myself, Jules St. Augustine, my fighter, and my scout. We have a cursed object here and there with a treasure dead center. I have the initiative because initiative is based off who has more power dice, and because of my cosmic essence that I got, I get an extra power dice. So I'm going to go for an achievement this game where I need to win with only one book. So I'm going to take the Book of Burning, and we're going to see how it goes. You roll your power dice and then assign them to whatever number on the book. Fighters and champions is the term, get 3 each, and we've got our 2 for the cursed dice on either side of the board, and our shade dice and cards off to the left. The shade has 5 power dice. It gets 3 that go to the Book of Shadow and 2 that go to the Book of Mockery. So I'm going to move up with Jules. I'm going to use the one that I have, the shifting power dice, to steal a shifting power dice from the shade, and then I'm going to summon a fire elemental. When your magician activates, you get a move and 2 spells, and you'll get to activate twice in the round. So now we go to the shade. The shade will overpower a realm of scorn, and it has to target an object. So I think if I were the shade, I would want to target the treasure to keep me from getting to it sooner. It's gonna be AoE 3, and the AoE is dangerous 1 terrain. The overpower with the 6 that it had will make that also rough 2. And then it comes back to Jules St. Augustine, who doesn't have anything that he can really do right now, but I will move just a little bit, I guess. Just up to the edge of that AoE. Not going into it, just up to the edge of it. And then we go back to the shade, who will overpower a Shadow Razor, hitting my magician for 2 damage. You start with 10 endurance is what your health is called in the game. Going to start with the fighter, who's going to move up 5 and cast a shield wall, which has Turn 1, AoE 2, and it's -1 damage to anybody who's in the bubble. Scout will then follow up, doesn't really have anything he can do, and we move to the curse phase. During that evoke step, we get a Basilisk gets summoned on the left, and then there were some other summons that went to waste because you can only have one of those. And then on the other side, that one is going to hit me with a swarm of insects, which is 1 damage and bind 1. So the next time I would move, I don't move, and the bind falls off. So we start with my movement, or my creature, which will be the fire elemental, which will move to the Basilisk. The Basilisk is already where it wants to be, so then they'll fight. My fire elemental will deal 2 damage to the Basilisk. I had the initiative, so I activate mine first. Basilisk then swings back, hitting my fire elemental for 2, which will finish it off. We then move to the cleanse phase, where term and hate will tick down, and the Basilisk will bind anybody within 5 inches with its frosty stare. Going into turn 2, I still have the initiative. I can't move during this activation, but my bind will fall off. I rolled 2 1s, 2 shifting power dice, so I'm going to use one of them to steal this dice from the cursed object that is a 1. And I'm going to use 1 to arcane bolt the Basilisk for 1 damage. The shade will call forth a malicious beam, as well as cast a realm of scorn on the furthest cursed object, because the scenario creatures are friendly to it, so it wouldn't want to hurt the Basilisk. It wouldn't want to hinder it from rampaging towards me. Yeah, second activation for my wizard. We're going to Mark of Fire the Basilisk to deal the final 2 damage to get rid of it, because there's no other summons this turn, it's just binding effects. And then I'm going to summon a fire elemental. The Shade will put a Realm of Scorn on this cursed object, and then we'll use Dark Replica, causing a cursed object, it doesn't say which, so I randomized and got that one, will call forth its thing. In the champion phase, we're going to have our fighter move up. We're going to have him overpower a Vicious Strike, which will give him fight +2. And then he's going to use Tenacity, which will give him +1 endurance. Our Scout overpowers a Snare Trap here, and then his bind falls off. He can't move. And then we move to Cursey stuff, which is going to be a bunch of bind effects on me and my guys. So the Fire Elemental, Jules, and the Fighter now are also bound. His bind fell off during his activation. And then we go to I go first with my creature. He doesn't need to move, but either way, the bind will fall off. And then he will chomp down upon our Basilisk moves a very small amount because of all the rough terrain around him. He picks up a bind from the Snare Trap. And then now technically is when the creatures fight. New turn starts with me. I have a bind, so I can't move, but we will shake that bind real quick. Overpower to give myself +1 endurance. I will cast a Mark of Fire upon the Basilisk. The Shade rolled 2 1s and 2 2s, and unfortunately I didn't roll any 1s, even with my lucky shell that let me re-roll a power die, so I can't steal anything from him. However, all he can do this whole round is cast Depraved Riot on my Fire Elemental, which will give it Hate, and he can Shadow Razor me for 1 damage. Comes to me, I'm gonna go get this treasure. We get another Cosmic Essence, which is sweet. Now, because we've already got 3 treasures equipped, we don't automatically gain the benefit of that one. We just pick it up. For my 2 spells, I'm going to Mark of Fire to hit that Basilisk for the last 2 needed to get rid of it. And I'm going to cast a Wall of Fire in front of where that next Basilisk is going to be coming from. Shade doesn't get an activation. I mean, it gets an activation, but it doesn't have anything that it can do. So we go to creatures, or champion phase, where I'm going to have my Scout shoot the Fire Ellie off the table with a powerful shot, move up, and then summon an Animal Companion, which for today, he managed to call a Spider out of the Basilisk graveyard. Warrior can't move, so his bind falls off, and then he will use Tenacity to give himself +1 endurance, and Command to give the Scout, to give himself +1 fight. I think those are cumulative. I'm not sure. I don't know if they fall off or not. Moving into the curse phase, the Scout and Jules will get hit with the Insect Swarm, so 1 damage and bound. The other curse object will give us a fresh new Basilisk. Into creatures. This is about as far as the creatures get because of all the rough terrain and everything else. They're not going to get to fight each other. The Spider will pick up another bind for being within 5 of the Basilisk, and then our terms will all tick down. We come to turn 3, my initiative. I can't move because of the bind, but I can overpower to give myself an endurance, and then hit that Basilisk over there with a Mark of Fire for 2 damage. The Mage will slander me, turning my Fire Elemental into a 1, which is actually, I wanted to have a 1, and then he will summon another Basilisk with Dark Replica from over here on the left. My Magician is not bound at the moment, so we're going to move to get within 6 of that far cursed object, and then I'm going to use the 1 that the other mage slandered me for to steal a shifting dice from that cursed object. And then we're going to hurl another mark of fire at the Basilisk. Shade will cast a Depraved Rite on the animal companion. And then I don't have any more Basilisk models. And technically I think there's only supposed to be one of them. I just let him have it. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's what I did. But I don't have any more of them, so there's no viable spell there. Scout can't move, but he can overpower a shoot action into this left dark Basilisk, which will hit it for 2 damage. Fighter will use Tenacity to give himself +1 Endurance, and a Vicious Strike to give himself +1 Fight, which, if it's cumulative, would put him up to a +5. Not cumulative. Not cumulative. I found the term. I found the word term in the description. So he's at +3. He will move towards that Basilisk. I did my champions and my curse phase out of order there in case you caught it. That's my bad. I got carried away. Oh wait, did I? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Curse phase though, nothing's gonna happen because both cursed objects have a summon on them, which they can't do anything with right now. Then the creatures will move. The spider can't move, and it's bound up in all its hatred. The snake, however, both of the snakes can move. Both of them will also take 1 damage from the dangerous terrain of that tar pit. Kill off the shiny one and put 1 damage on the remaining dark Basilisk. We then go to fights, where I have the initiative. Champions fight during the creature phase. So we will hit that fellow for 3, which is enough to finish him off before he can hit me. At that point, our terms and hates tick down. Proceed to turn 4. Turn 4 for me. Not exactly sure what I should do here, so I think the plan is going to be to regroup with the soldier and then go from there. Kind of put myself in a bit of a central position. For spells, we will hit an overpower to gain an endurance, and we will cast a fire elemental. Shade will bring in a malicious being, as well as put Realm of Scorn on this cursed object because he's closer to it, and it will affect my warrior. Comes back to my magician. We're gonna Arcane Bolt the malicious being, move, and huck up a wall of fire. Shade will then hit me with a Shadow Razor and a Depraved Rite on, I guess, the Fire Ellie, because that's closer. Champions move and trigger a focused Vicious Strike for the fighter and put a powerful shot into the fire element. Both objects had a summon, only one of them could get it, so I did an even or odd, and it landed up there. My little spider moves first and gets there, so the Basilisk won't move. Spider will hit the Basilisk for 1. Basilisk will then squish the spider. Turns tick down, and we go to turn 5. Beginning with my magician. I'm going to move up, overpower a mark of fire to hit it for 4, and then arcane bolt it for the last damage. Shade will slander me, turning my 4, which is a wall of flames, into a 1, a shifting power dice, and then he will summon a malicious beam. I will move away from that particular cursed object because there's going to be a basilisk coming out of it very soon. And then I'm going to arcane bolt that malicious beam. Champions will move up. The scout going to summon his animal companion, and the fighter, whose dice I apparently forgot to roll, is going to overpower a shield wall and use a vicious strike for +1 fight. I will get bound from an insect swarm on my magician, Jules St. Augustine, and we will get another basilisk to deal with. My creature moves first, though, getting to the basilisk before it can get to me. I will hit it for 1. It will squish me. Terms tick down, so the firewall goes away, as does the Realm of Scorn, and we go to the final turn. We come to the final turn, where I cannot move for my first activation. I am in range of that basilisk, so I will overpower a Mark of Fire and hit that bad boy for 4 damage. Shade will overpower a Realm of Scorn. It could hit either of them, but I would assume it would go for the... Oh no. We'll even or odd it. So on an even, it'll be the one on the left. It'll be the one on the right. And it currently has no target for a Depraved Riot because there are no enemy creatures. I'm going to move up 1, taking 1 damage from the dangerous terrain. I just don't care. I need to get within 6 of that so that I can use this one that I have to steal the one that it has, which should, if I'm not mistaken, put me to another achievement. And then we got a Fire Elemental. We'll overpower ourselves. We'll overpower ourselves twice. That's what we're going to do. Because that means that there's nothing for the Shade to do, because there's no target for the Depraved Riot, which means we'll go to Champions. He can't move, but he can overpower a Tenacity to... Oh, wait, never mind. He can move, because he can overpower the Tenacity to give himself +1. And if he or focuses it rather, it removes the Bind and Daze. So I can do that and then move up to the Snake. Scout will summon a new Spider. In the Curse phase, the only one cursed object has anything left on it, and it will become nothing because it has a summon on it, and there's already a summon on the table, so it can't do anything. Did break the curse on that object, but I am not going to be able to get to it to claim it, because I don't think there's an auto claim at the end of the game, but I'll double check. We go to creature phase. The Spider will move up to, or creature movements. The Spider will move up to the Basilisk. And during the creature fight phase, I'll fight first, so we'll fight with the Fighter. Basilisk will swing back, squish the Spider. Spider won't get to swing. Yeah, I think that one just gets left behind, and that's, that's fine. I'm going to get 2 achievements. I'm going to get Deus Ex Machina, which is win a game with 10 power dice, and I'm also going to get Hedge Wizard for winning a game with only a single lore book. I'm going to equip the other Cosmic Essence, and I'm going to give my other lucky shell that I have to a new champion, which will be the Rogue. And that, my friends, will do it for this game of Cursebreaker. That's the third game, and that's the first one that I really felt was a solid victory. Really, really pleased with how that went. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out. I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day.